Hey everyone, today we are diving into the official Season 9 comics of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And trust me, this season takes things in a whole new direction. It's full of chaos, emotional depth, and even a little bit of humor. We also get introduced to a new layer of mythology in the Buffyverse. So let's get started. Season 8 kicked off a new narrative arc. A world without magic, or at least almost without it. The rules had changed, and with them came a new kind of threat: zompires, vampires that had broken away from the old order. Meanwhile, the Slayer squads had distanced themselves from Buffy after the apocalyptic battle, sparked by Angel's mission to become a new kind of god. His blind faith in the powers that be, specifically in Whistler, led to Giles's death. Under Angel's command, hundreds of Slayers were killed. Haunted by guilt and believing his choices were worse than anything Angelus had ever done, Angel tried to take responsibility. He wanted to bring Giles back. Yes, we would see our beloved Watcher return later. Faith supported this idea, staying loyal to him. This marked the beginning of Angel and Faith's own storyline in a separate comic series. Their dynamic mirrored the kind of reflective, emotionally complex relationship we had already seen between Buffy and Spike in the show. In many ways, the comics added more depth to Angel and Faith's connection, based on Buffy's early seasons, and continued in the Angel spin-off. Season 9 started to slowly bring Buffy and Spike back together, though not without complications. Our heroes weren't as close as we remembered. They'd drifted apart. Willow still hadn't forgiven Buffy for destroying the seed of magic. Eventually, her path crossed with Angel and Faith, and they struck a deal. Willow would use Angel's son, Connor, to open a path into a hidden dimension. These adventures ran parallel to the main Season 9 storyline. The first episode opened with a loud housewarming party. While Dawn and Xander were busy building their lives together, Buffy moved into a new home with neighbors. The Slayer hosted a party with some familiar faces, and there were a few callbacks, like Spike and Willow joking about how he tried to bite her but couldn't because of the chip.
I'm only 126.
Why don't we wait a half an hour and try again?
Spike might have been having fun at the party, but his loyalty to Buffy was still his top priority. He stayed in the city to patrol with her at night, warning her about new enemies who kept appearing out of nowhere, for now without clear names or origins. When a series of murders shook the city, the police mistakenly suspected Buffy. Spike promised to help her find out who was responsible for these killings. Following rumors, Spike traveled to Alcatraz Island, where he met the demon Eldre Cole. Cole had been released from prison after the destruction of the seed. He explained that he wanted to serve Buffy rather than kill her, and warned of a true threat: Siphon, a creature capable of draining magical and demonic energy. When Cole asked why a vampire would go to such lengths for the Slayer, Spike shared his story without hesitation. He admitted his feelings but felt unworthy of Buffy's love. While Spike was away, the Siphon, Severin, got close to Buffy. Posing as an ally in the fight against the zompires, he led her into a trap, and the fighting broke out immediately. Buffy bravely defended herself when suddenly a detective burst in, clearly shocked by the supernatural chaos. Spike and Co arrived just in time to help. As Severin drained the Slayer's strength, she whispered with her last breath for Spike to stay away, but he ignored her. He acted instantly, risking himself to draw Severin's attention away. The detective finally fired a shot. Although the antagonist survived, he was forced to take a backseat for the time being. Buffy continued to have troubling dreams about the first Slayer. She was convinced it wasn't a coincidence. Willow reminded Buffy about the vampire book that Giles had left her as a legacy, the final mystery of Season 8. What was so special about this book? That question remained unanswered.
Miss Summers? I was told you were coming.
That's not what I'm looking for.
My mistake.
Amid the emotional turmoil, Buffy realized her discomfort might not be caused by magic. She could be pregnant. This is one of my favorite dramatic moments in Season 9. After the wild ride of Season 8, with all its prophecies and alternate dimensions, we finally saw a truly grounded and personal challenge for the Slayer. Buffy knew only one person who could give her advice: Robin, the Slayer's son. Just when things couldn't get any stranger, Spike arrived in a spaceship. He had joined forces with the detective to hunt vampires. The detective picked up on Spike's messy feelings for Buffy and, despite having his own crush on the Slayer, chose to back the hopeless romantic vampire. During a patrol, Spike got a message from Buffy and didn't waste a second getting to her. He was ready to open his heart, but instead of a love confession, Buffy dropped a bombshell. She was pregnant. More importantly, she had decided not to keep the baby. Buffy felt lost and heartbroken, but a thought crossed her mind: to run away with Spike. That moment meant so much to both of them, and I think it resonated deeply with all fans of this iconic couple.
I'm counting on you.
Till the end of the world.
However, Buffy wasn't so sure, not about being a Slayer mother, but about motherhood itself. So she asked Spike if he'd go with her to the hospital. Of course, he agreed. Eventually, Buffy's belongings were packed and moved onto Spike's spaceship. She seemed sad and uncertain. Spike just wanted to know if she was really ready to go through with it. But Buffy didn't hesitate. She only asked if he'd spoken to the doctor. As they settled into life on the ship, the couple kept talking about the idea of running away together. But then Buffy crushed Spike's hopes, saying that if the baby were born, she'd want a normal life. And a vampire by her side was the very thing she'd want to leave behind. When the detective we'd met earlier found himself in danger, he reached out to Spike once again. The ship headed straight into the action. Buffy insisted on joining the fight despite her condition. In the heat of battle, the Chosen One covered the detective, and in the chaos, he let slip Spike's true feelings for her. Buffy rushed to the love-struck vampire, saving him as he was surrounded by vampires. Then came the big moment. Buffy asked Spike if he still loved her and why he never said anything. Spike apparently thought she didn't need more emotional drama. Spike finally admitted he didn't want to be just a dark place for Buffy, exactly what she called him when they first met after his death in Sunnydale. But now, with his soul restored, he felt whole, even almost normal, at least for a demon. It was a true Buffy moment. He wanted a normal life with her after everything they'd been through. It looked like they were about to kiss when suddenly a vampire ripped off Buffy's hand, a robot hand. Not only was Spike shocked, but Buffy was too. She was convinced she wasn't a robot, and honestly, as a reader, I was totally confused. Buffybot and Spike wasted no time trying to find answers. Whenever technology was involved, Andrew was always behind it. As it turned out, the genius got so scared by Spike's warnings about a new enemy that he secretly transferred Buffy's mind into a robot version. Meanwhile, the original Buffy was hidden away, living a normal life without knowing she was the Slayer. Buffy and Spike were left alone on the ship. She just wanted to hear one of Spike's usual jokes, something to make the situation feel a bit more normal and familiar. Buffy thanked him for being there whenever she needed him. Together with Andrew, they set out to find Buffy's real body. But they were confronted by an evil Slayer, one of those who followed her own strict ideology about what the Slayer's role in the world should be. While Buffy searched the apartment where her unaware clone had been living, she sank deeper into depression. She was overwhelmed by disappointment that Andrew had managed to create a dream life for her without her. As Andrew fixed Buffy's hand, they had a difficult conversation where Buffy strongly criticized the foolish plan to transfer her consciousness. and I completely agree with her. It was one of the most dramatic moments of the season for the Chosen One. Buffy was struggling emotionally and taking out her frustration on Spike. In the end, Buffybot was captured by the evil Slayer Simone, who had turned the amnesiac Buffy against the Scoobies. The two Buffys confronted each other. Simone attacked Spike and nearly stabbed him with a stake. Luckily, she missed his heart. Both Buffys rushed to save him. Simone escaped, and Buffy began her journey to heal both her body and mind. Once again, Spike told the real Buffy he loved her, promised he'd always believe in her and stand by her side, then left on his spaceship. After the fake pregnancy, Buffy was inspired to try living a normal life. She joined Kennedy's organization, which helped Slayers assimilate into everyday life. She got a job as a bodyguard. Buffy messed up her first day by trusting her Slayer instincts too much. Still, demons had become a regular part of her life. Among them, she saw a potential ally. An old friend, Ko. Since Spike trusted him, she did too. Meanwhile, Spike had new challenges ahead. His story continued in a separate comic called Dark Place, a title that now makes sense to us. The vampire with a soul had a deep emotional intelligence for reflection. Alone in the dark on his ship, Spike fell into a deep depression. His bug crew, especially his main companion Sebastian, created a beach for him in the solarium, a place originally made for Buffy. But then danger shattered Spike's melancholy. Monsters attacked the ship. A demon named Morgan came to his rescue. Around that time, he also ran into Nash and Pearl, enemies he'd once saved by chance, back when he was still soulless. They had fought alongside Angel during his Twilight era in Season 8, clashing with Buffy. Tension rose quickly and a fight broke out. Spike barely escaped back to the ship with Morgan. Spike treated Morgan with kindness. She wanted to return to her own dimension after the destruction of the seed, and Spike supported her. Morgan began to fall for him quickly, but he didn't feel the same and told her he loved Buffy. Morgan couldn't believe she'd been rejected. What had almost become love turned into hostility. In her quest to return home, Morgan managed to awaken ancient powers. In the massive battle that followed, Spike's ship was destroyed. His close friend Sebastian was killed, and Morgan escaped. The bugs decided to stay on the island. Spike was alone once again. Then, unexpectedly, he got a call from Angel asking for help in London.
Bloody hell. Yes, it's me.
As you can see, Season 9 takes a step away from prophecy and epic battles. It's mostly about adult choices, broken systems, found family, and the weight of being human, not just the Slayer. And that's exactly what makes this part of season so powerful. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into Buffy's comic journey, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.